Mister, you're in a room.
I'm recording. Okay, so we're gonna do a quick edit. Obviously, we're still gonna try and finish up our collage, right? I promise we'll finish that. You might even want to use some of your pictures here that you took, those of you guys who went. But I'm gonna show you another quick way of manipulating images, right? The first time we did a little bit of just getting more than one image into one Photoshop file, right? And then doing some transparency, some blend modes, right? But I'm gonna choose one. Jade was nice enough. Oh, she looks mean there. Let's go to a one where she's kind of smiley. Oh, and then she's like, "Why'd you make me look up to?" Oh, that one's good. That one's got some attitude. And then we got the smile one. I like the attitude one. This one's good. She looks gangster, man, right there. All right. So open up one, right? Make sure you have one. And notice how I dragged mine so it'd be separate like that. No, just one. Just one. I just happened to open a lot of them because I wanted to look through them. All right. Now, one of the first things we need to look at is what size is this image, right? Whatever your camera was set at, they were all different settings, and we need your window layers, that's for sure. All right. Now, some people still do this, some people don't. I'm teaching you the old school way that I was taught. Immediately, first thing you should do is click right here in your layer where it says background. Literally, and call this original. Right? Like original recipe KFC. Anybody like KFC? No? Churches, man, churches. Churches is the way to go because it's cheap. And remember, churches used to have the like $3.99 2-piece and a biscuit. Man, that's not there anymore. Yeah. Anyway, so what? All right, did everyone type original? All right. As soon as you've done that, select that layer. Remember, Photoshop is very touchy. If you don't have any layers selected, nothing happens. Select the layer, see how it looks great. Command J. Command J is duplicate a layer. It's the quick command. All right. Cool. Everybody good? All right. Go down to the bottom one, the original. Yes. And notice there's a little lock right here. Lock all attributes. Well, it's going to just lock that layer. There's a little lock. Yes. And also turn off the little eye, the visibility. This is like insurance to keep your original untouched. Because like I told you, as you go forward in Photoshop, if you don't have a lot of experience, if you don't do this stuff and you're like, oh, I'm trying to do this effect to it, and watch what can happen, right? Don't do this. I'm just showing you. Say that you're trying to like erase part of it, and you're like, oh, I want to erase some of this background here, and you go like this, right? You're like, what? Why is nothing happening? Why? Because you did it to the one underneath because you had that one selected. Photoshop is very tricky in that sense, especially when you're starting off. You don't know that you're messing stuff up. All right. And you're like, it's not doing anything. I guarantee some of you are going to call me over. No, my Photoshop's not working. Look, and I'm trying, and then I'm going to go, you don't have the right layer selected. All right. Okay. So if you do make a boo-boo, everybody look up here. We got window, and there's one called history. Right here. Not version history, just history. And this shows you, while your Photoshop file is open, everything you've done from the very first act of opening the file to what I just did, right? So the cool thing about history is you can go back in time while the file is open, and it's undoing everything that I just did, right? And then I'm just going to go right here. Okay. That's the last place I was at. See how history lets you go back in time. Yes, there are Command Z's or undos in Photoshop, but it's limited depending on your file size and how long you've been working on a photo. Right? Cool. Everybody good? That should be locked, and that should be off. Now select the top one, original copy. All right, everybody there? All right, let's save this. Command S, and then this is where you're gonna kind of name it. And I'm gonna put Jade, pick one, and my initials AN, and I'm gonna save it. Always save as a PSD first, right? It'll default to that. Make sure you know where you're saving it. Photoshop just Photoshop file and hit save. No JPEGs yet, no PNGs, just save it as a PSD. And we have now saved this file. Cool? Yeah. All right. Now, I don't know if you notice at the bottom of your file, it will usually tell you several things. There's a little arrow here. It'll tell you document size in megabytes. Check it out. If you notice right here, it says 34.9 for mine. Yours is going to be different. Depends on how many pixels are in there and what size format your picture took this, right? So this is flattened if you were to save it flat with no layers, right? But we created a layer. Notice how it's double the size, right? Because we've created 2 layers. All right. Then you got document profile and then dimensions. That's the one that was on mine as a default. And that one, I want you guys to go to that one, document dimensions. Cool. And any of you guys who know anything about pixel dimensions and stuff, right? For websites, for phones, for screens on phones and tablets. And look at what it says, 72 PPI, pixels per inch. Now, right now, my particular photo, yours might be different. Some of yours might say 300. If your camera was set to like JPEG at 300, right? Remember when we've talked about how 300 is minimum high res. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do on mine, I'm going to go check how large this file is physically, right? If we were to print this at 100% is just like it is on the big printer, let's see what size is it. So you go to image size. Aha. You guys looking here? On mine, right? It was shot in a format where it's on my phone, obviously, HEIC. That's usually iPhones and stuff. But I don't know if you guys can see. This is 42 by 56. If you look down at the floor where your feet are, each one of these tiles is 12 inches by 12 inches. It's a foot. So this file is literally almost 4 of these high, right? I mean, sorry, 56. So 48. I would say 5.5 of these tiles high and almost 4 tiles wide. That's how big my file is physically. I know it's on the computer. I know it's in pixels. But if I were to print it out, I could print it out at that size on that big printer and it would look okay. All right. Even without changing any resolution. Okay. Anybody have theirs that says their resolution is 300 here? Anyone? Okay. All right. So yours is already set to a realistic high res pixels per inch. So you don't have to do anything to yours. Rogelio, what does yours say as far as width and height?
It's 20 by 13.
Okay, excellent. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Now later on, we're gonna do some what we call image sizing. Some people don't do it anymore, but it's still important if you're outputting to print, right? And a lot of stuff we do here is a print. Maybe you end up working at a museum one of these days, or you're trying to do some cool graphics for a booth. Say that you're trying to sell some of your stuff in a pop-up and you want a nice banner and you want to do it yourself. You don't want to pay anybody else, right? I'll show you guys that a little bit later. We're not going to mess with these, but I just wanted to show you that it'll tell you. All right. So hit cancel or okay. All right. Everybody ready? Okay. So, also on your tools, make sure you just use the regular arrow for right now, the 4 arrows, the move tool. They call it the move tool. All right. Oh. Okay. So we're going to try very, very simple filters that are built in. What I want to try today is introduce you guys to what we call adjustment layers. Anybody that done Photoshop know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's pretty cool because it is also a non-destructive way of editing a photo, but yet you get a cool look with just using a filter. All right, so make sure you have the top layer selected, and you're gonna go up to layer. Yes, everybody? New adjustment layer. And check it out, before you select any of them, right? We have all these kind of presets. They're pretty cool. They can help you kind of color grade or manipulate some of the color, or maybe just umph it up a little bit. All right. And the cool thing about it is they're not permanent. So I want everybody to go to, let's do curves. Select curves and just say, okay. And notice it becomes almost like a new layer on top. Everybody see it? Yes. And this window that says properties should have popped up. No? Yes? All right. Okay, let's do that again. So I select the top layer, go to layer, new adjustment layer, curves. And you should see as soon as you do that, this window that says properties pops up and you got like this histogram, a little mountain looking thing. Yes? Yes? All right. Now look at your photo, right? And you can zoom in a little bit and watch. Click down here at the bottom of this line and start moving it down a little bit. And then click at the top and start moving it up. This is what we call a slight S curve, just like in geometry and math. And you notice that some of the colors start kind of popping and a little bit of, it almost looks like contrast. But look at the yellow in mine. I know it's kind of hard to see on the projector, but you'll see it. And you can kind of adjust it a little bit to give it a little bit more pop. You guys see how I did that on mine? A slight S curve. All right. Ay, canijo. You did some crazy stuff over there. Cool. All right. Cool. Right? Now, check this out. Everybody look. Everybody looking? What's cool about this is you have not edited the original image. All it is a filter you created on top. Watch, turn it on and off. Look at that. Already my image on my screen, not up on the screen yours, but my image looks a little hazy, right? It doesn't look as nice. But as soon as I do my curves, it's like, wow. Cool. Because you'll find a lot of Photoshop YouTube videos. Oh, you got to do this and this. Guys, sometimes simple is best, right? Look at that. Very easy, right? Now, it does manipulate, like say you lose a little bit of detail in the clouds on mine, right? You see what I'm talking about? Later on, I'll show you can actually isolate some of those areas, right? With some real simple selections. But in general, it just gave me a cool little ability to manipulate it. It's just a filter on top of it. All right, turn curves off. And let's go back to original. Yeah. Go to original, I'm sorry, original copy, yes. It's all right. You look, as long as your original is locked and off, it's safe. So original copy, all right? And guess what? If you guys feel like you need to make more copies, you can. And you just do Command J. There's nothing wrong. And this is one of the things I want to tell everybody. Please listen to this, all right? You guys are lucky enough to have computers and phones that usually have plenty of memory to do this stuff. I come from the generation in the 90s where we were struggling to save a file like we have right now, right? We literally would hit save and then leave and then come back because it would take like an hour to save a Photoshop file with multiple layers. I'm not exaggerating, all right? So don't be that person. Don't be like my mom who, anybody have the boomer in their family, a grandma or somebody that they're like, I hate all these texts in my phone and they try to delete them. Anybody have that person?
Yes.
That's my mother. I go, Mom, don't delete them because then she says, oh, remember you sent me that picture of this? I go, you probably deleted it. Oh, right. So what I'm trying to get at is don't worry about making ginormous files and making copies of files and making layers. Don't let it bother you, right? You want to make extra stuff. You want to give your files variations. You want to do a lot of different edits. Okay? Yes? All right. Don't be afraid of that. You're not going to run out of memory space like everybody else used to. Okay. So let's do another one. Let's go back to layer, right? Adjustment layer. And there's one called photo filter. Do that one, photo filter. Again, layer. Let's see if this one does something. New adjustment layer. Just remember, new adjustment layer under layer, and then you choose one of these, right? Try some of them. Experiment with them a little bit. All right. Now check it out. This popped up. You always get a second window that pops up whenever you use one of these filters. And check it out. On mine, I'm adding a slight, it's kind of hard to see up on screen. I'm adding a slight tone, and it's kind of warming it up. You can even change this color here. What if you wanted to give your picture a green tint, like you're in the Matrix? Anybody remember that movie? Anybody know what I'm talking about? Right? Okay. And what's cool about this is, look at that. I'm not even trying. It's kind of hard to see on screen. When you see the video, it looks really nice on my screen here, right? Okay. Very easy to do this. Okay. And what's cool, what I just tell you guys, it's not permanent. You just turn them on and off, right? You can even start blending some of these adjustment layers with each other by using the blend modes that we used that last time with our collage stuff. You'll see what I mean. All right. Again, these are some of the simple things that do edits, and a lot of people don't do them. All right. Check it out. Go to filter, and you have all these built in. Look at this underwater one. And do you remember when the phones first started having filters for your photos, and you could edit them and give it like a Polaroid look or 70s or whatever? These are them. These are those in Photoshop mode. All right. Cool. That's really what these are. Cool. All right. It's just to give it a little tone. Yeah. Playing around. This is what we used to call, look at the clouds. I don't know if you can see, you can't see it on mine. But the clouds on mine, when I move this all the way up, they look like they're creamer in the coffee, man, on mine. All right. You'll see it in the video if you watch the video later. It looks amazing. And I can still see some of the colors through there. All right, now check this out. Everybody ready? I'm gonna say okay to that one. Now watch this. I don't know if everybody's noticing here. Notice how there's the adjustment layer and the little icon, and then there's this little rectangle next to it. You guys see it?
Yeah.
This is technically, and we're gonna cover masking later in Photoshop. This is technically also a mask. And what do I mean by that? So if you click on this little cube, this little preview cube here, right? You guys watching? And I click on it and select it. See how it's selected? That means I can actually manipulate this filter. Check this out. If I hit eraser, E, check this out. If I hit eraser, if you ever seen photos where they manipulate it where only some stuff is in color, watch this. Eraser, E, I go up to my brushes right here at the very top. It's like a little circle. And I do hardness 0. That means it's going to be a soft edge eraser, right? Imagine you're doing some graffiti art, right? And you had this magic spray can that can erase just like it could paint. That's what this is, all right? Oh, what'd I do here? What happened? I'm on the wrong one? Oh, yeah, I moved by accident to the wrong one. Hold on. Oh, here it is. All right, everybody looking? Watch this. So I chose eraser, right? And then I chose my brush. Don't forget to go to your brushes right here. You click on that. You bring it to 0. You click back on it to get out of that little window. Sorry, it's because my image keeps hiding. There it is. And I zoom in on my focal point, which in this case is my subject. And it becomes, and notice in my little, see, this is what we call a mask. And I am only revealing jade in normal color. And I can make the brush bigger or smaller with the brackets, the ones next to the P. Also, if you don't see your brush size, this is the brush size, you might have your caps lock on. You know how they always say don't have your caps lock on? So if you have your caps lock, you will not see the size of the brush. So I'm literally creating a small brush, and I'm going in there, and I could have been more careful there. And I'm erasing. Uh-oh, my Photoshop messed up. See how it's stretching? All right. I'm going to hit save. Command. Huh? Yeah, it's stretched. I'm going to hit Command S. Sorry, I'm going to have to quit out. Sometimes my Photoshop gets wacky. Okay. What did you mess up? Hold on, let me pause. Let me pause this. Oh, Command Z. You can do Command Z just like an Illustrator. Okay, then go to history. I showed you history. Window, history. Oh. Okay, so I don't know if it's recording. Okay. All right. So here's my image again, right? And again, it doesn't matter. I can turn that off, turn this one on, and notice. Look at what I just did. You're gonna see it on the video. So by just erasing the photo filter and turning back on the curves, now they're blending. This top layer is blending with this and blending with this. So now I've got a crazy background with a photo filter, but Jade looks normal color with the curves only. Do you guys see what I'm doing? Right? So you can start doing cool. Now right here, I missed a little bit, right? I should have been more accurate. I should have made my brush smaller and followed it quicker, but for demonstration purposes, right? You get it. Okay. So you can see you can make stuff stand out. Very easy. Was that not easy? Right? You don't have to go to YouTube and I need to look. No, just these are basic things, right? And I like to go over the basic stuff. Okay. So here's the next one. And let's see what we get. Same thing. Layer. And the what I want you guys to create today is going to be a black and white. And we're going to print it out some special paper that I have ready for you guys. It'll just be a nice print. You can take it home. You can print another one. You can give it to a friend, whatever. There's a black and white filter. Now, some of these cameras, you can set them to black and white mode, and they emulate what a black and white film would do. But this is a black and white filter. Let's do that. Boom. Now, notice mine, it turned on, but it's underneath these two. So I can drag the whole layer to be the top layer, and now everything is black and white. Again, it's just a filter. There's my original. Look at that. Look at that. I didn't even try. I just created it. That's the default. And notice, I know it says black and white, but it's just emulating black and white. And you can play around with this filter also, this adjustment layer, and play around with it. Look, you can blow out the background and make it really like grungy. You can do that. Some of them will not. Oh, look at the clouds. Look at mine. When you see the video, look at the clouds. All right. And it just kind of makes it like a dark tone. Okay. Just play around with that. Find your balance. Do what you want. Look at that one's just affecting her jeans. I don't know if you guys can see on screen, right? The highlights, because that's actually manipulating color, but through this black and white filter. All right. So you're really not adjusting black and white. It's just an illusion of what we see. Look at that. Look at her jeans. Look like they're glowing there. All right. Some will cause an effect and some will not. Look, that's her shirt. So those are the magenta tones, because their shirt's kind of like a dark maroon or something. See how that's adjusting it? You guys see it? Look at that. Cool. All right. And again, this is happening because I have all these filters on. What if you turn this one off where I have her kind of, look at that. That adjusted it totally different. There's the pure black and white with no other adjustment layers. And now I can adjust this one. See? Cool? Oh, that looks weird. All right. It doesn't look too good, but I'm going to go back in time to my history. And I think it was layer order where it looked just real nice. Oh, look at that. Very nice. I think it's that one I like. It looks very, very nice. It's a little bit glowy down there. It doesn't matter for me. But, okay. So, once you have it, how you want it. I do want an ultimate black and white version, okay? All right? You're going to save it. Command S as your PSD. You ready? Yeah? Yes? Why? What happened? Okay. Well, this is just practice. You're gonna work on it right now. All right. So say that you got it where you want it. Everybody follow along on this next part because we're gonna jump into Illustrator. All right. You ready? Okay. Last step. You saved it as PSD, right? Go to File, save a copy. We're not even gonna do any cropping in Photoshop yet. Just save a copy because when you do save a copy, it allows you to save it as a JPEG. Make sure you saved your PSD first. Huh? Okay, cancel. All right. So I did a Command S first, just my PSD. Command S. Right? If you have not saved, if you weren't following along, you should have saved already as a PSD, all your layers. Don't delete anything. All right. Then you do a file, save as, or Shift Command S, and you're going to choose this one, save a copy. It's going to name it that, and it's going to allow you to save a JPEG. JPEG is going to be flat, not layers. So just select JPEG. Notice it changed it. It added copy.jpg. That's fine. Make sure you know where you're saving it. Okay. Now here, the quality, we want it on the highest, maximum. Okay. If you're saving it as a JPEG, it should have given you that. Shift Command S, save a copy, select JPEG. It should say here. No? Yes, Jade? All right. All the way to 12. No matte. Just say okay. Everything else the same. Save. Now you have a nice JPEG saved wherever you saved it. Now let's go to Illustrator. This is important because it's a specific size. All right. Adobe Illustrator, yes. And for example, Diego has his horizontal, right? Sideways. It depends how you have your file. Now, some of it is going to get cut away, okay? New file. Print. Everybody there? This is going to be a custom size, inches. Yes. 8.5 by 14. This is legal size document. It's a little bit longer than our regular 8.5 by 11. If yours is going to be sideways, it's going to be 14 by 8.5. All right. You can do it that way too. All right.
What sideways? Landscape?
Yes, landscape, horizontal. If your image that you're working on will work better, do that. Okay? Yes? Yes. 8.5 by 14 if you're doing it vertical. Okay. All right. All right, here are layers. Man, sorry, all my tabs moved over here. Right? And again, Illustrator, we should have our layers. Very simple here, Command 0. I can't see my screen. Why can't I see my screen? It's ginormous. There it is. Sorry. And notice it's kind of hard to see up on screen, but it's going to be a little bit taller than normal. Yes. There's a reason. All right. And then you're going to name your layer, placed image or artwork, right? Be professional. On your layers, name it placed image or artwork, whatever you want, or photo. Be professional and name your layers. Right? Then Shift Command P, place. There's my picture. Now, be careful. If you just click, it's going to place it ginormous. So don't do that, right? You're going to hit Shift Command P. See how big it's going to be. You don't want to do that because then you got to scale it down. Shift Command P, select it, and start clicking it in this top corner and dragging. It's okay. Now, this way I have a manageable size. And yes, some of the image is going to get cut. All right. But I want you to scale it, whether it be smaller. Now, you don't want to go too small where you're gonna have white and stuff on the outside, right? Yes. See how that doesn't fit. So you're gonna have to scale it. And yes, some of it is gonna get cut away. That's fine. But you're gonna kind of move it around where you think it looks nice. And I kind of like this one. A little bit of my foreground is getting cut. I know what graphic design. Yes, sir. I cannot today. I have the clean lady. The dogs gave it up. All right, thank you. All right. Oh, I hope that didn't get recorded. Anyway, okay. So are you guys seeing what I'm doing here? I don't know if you guys can see, and it's kind of hard to see on screen, but don't do this. I'm just drawing it for demonstration purposes. That is where I have my file. This other stuff is going to be cut away, right? Look, if I just draw a white rectangle on top and I make it the correct size, how do we know? And some of you guys who already started doing some of the geometrics, and we talked about it, what can we do to hide the rest of this image here? If I draw a rectangle and I select both, what is the command to do a clipping mask? Command 7. Check that out. We didn't have to do crazy Photoshop cropping and all this stuff. I have now created, right, a nice photo that we're going to output and print, right? Now here's the last step. New layer and call it copyright. Now, next class, I'm going to have you, I didn't want to do it today because I want to let you guys work. All right. But next class, you are going to create your own artist or photo signature with a copyright. Today, I'm going to allow you to find a nice scripty font. All right. And do that. So on its own layer, I'm going to lock this one. Right. And I'm going to go to the text and I'm going to click right here. I'm going to type my name, Antonio A. Novo. My wife always makes fun of me when we're signing paperwork. She makes it sound like I'm very important, right? Antonio A. Novo. Yes, everybody got that? Do your name, not my name. All right. And then I don't know what I have as far as scripty font. So I'm going to go to where? We know how to download fonts already, yes? Let's go to the font or font squirrel. All right. Oh, they blocked it. No. Yes. Let's see font squirrel. Don't tell me they blocked that too. Okay, they didn't block font squirrel. Check it out. And I'm gonna type script. Script. Let's see what they got is script. Because I want it to look like writing for right now. Okay. Ooh, Aquafina. That looks nice. Like handwriting, like cursive. Ooh, Airstream, like the trailer I have. Ooh, look at that vintage one. I might do that one. It looks like old cursive handwriting. You see it? All right. Again, I don't think these are like perfect, but just for demonstration purposes. All right. So find a nice one that you like. We're gonna do a hand done one anyway, but I'm gonna download this one. Remember, it has to say that it's free. If it takes you to another site, or if it says off site, then that means you have to pay for it. I just chose that one, Aqualine. All right. You guys see it? And then I open it. Double click it open. Remember, it's any of the ones that say TTF or OTF. If it has 5 different versions, whatever you download, make sure you double click it to launch it. To launch your photo book or whatever, font book. Sorry. There it is. Sometimes it'll ask if you want to scan it or whatever. Yes, scan it. There it is. Remember the name, because if you don't remember the name of the font, you might not remember what to type in the Illustrator font window. All right. Yes? No? All right. Oh, Chela. Reminds me of that restaurant, Chelitos, downtown. Gotta order something to go. All right, so mine's Aqualine or Aqualine. All right, let's go back to Illustrator. Oh, next class, when we do the actual physical signature, you guys are gonna love it. All right. So Aqualine, so I type AQ. There it is, Aqualine 2. Look at that, it looks all fancy. Now, remember, you guys know how to use Illustrator, right? So I'm gonna make a quick copy with my Option Shift. Oops, didn't do it. Yes. And then I'm gonna do copyright 2024. How do I do a copyright? Ooh, that's not a very easily readable font. No, sir, that's a PC. We're not in PC land. Option G, whatever font you got, Option G, hold down Option and hit the G. I kind of don't like that one, but that's fine. Now watch this. Everybody watching? Yes? What is Illustrator famous for with text? We can outline the font, yes? A whole copy. No, I'm not going to group them yet. I want to ungroup them as a matter of fact. But first I need to convert them from a font because I could adjust these. Watch. I could go and select the A, right? I could go and, oops. I could go and select just the A like this. I could do this and I can increase just the A, right? Like that. But I don't want to do that because that's a lot of work. I have Illustrator. I can outline a font instantly by selecting it. Everybody watching? This will make it look a little bit more realistic. Shift Command O, right? Remember, that makes our font shapes. Option Shift Command G, or Option Command G, sorry, to ungroup. Sorry. Is it Shift Command G? Sorry, Shift Command G. Shift Command G to ungroup them, and then I can start manipulating them and make them look more realistic, and I can rotate my A. I can move the A in here. You don't have to, but I'm just showing you that you can, right? Because you guys are good at Illustrator. What if I make the O's a little bit bigger so it looks like a variation, right? And I can have the letters touching. A what? Option G in a live font. So I know I'm trying to make this look like a fake signature, but you get the idea, right? What if you're in a bind? What if you don't have time? What if you're trying to finish this quick? You get the idea. Look at this, right? And I'm having them kind of touch, right? Don't tell me that you don't necessarily want to do that, but I'm just showing you that you can. And it looks more realistic. I could rotate this in a little bit. I know stretching is frowned upon in graphic design, but for a letter like this, maybe you can just stretch it a little bit. Nobody's gonna know if you do a little something like that, right? Huh? We got it on video. Yeah, and I could probably tell. Anyway. And then remember, when you outline a font, check this out. They're touching, right? And my real signature, I do one of these. Check this out. I'm gonna copy this A. Everybody watching? Everybody watching? Look at this. What if I go in here and I kind of take apart this A and I'm using the delete? Right? I'm doing it in segments because if I do it all at once, I'll lose everything. And could I have just drawn it? Yeah. Oops. Check it out. So I have that little stubby thing. I stretch it out a little bit, or I can even flip it around because I do a little loopy thing on my ends. Look at that. You're welcome. Anyway, and I don't like the copyright, not a perfect circle. It looks like a 6 to me. Yes? Shift Command G. I ungroup that. Or I make a copy, use my arrow key. On this one, I'm going to delete the C. Right? On this one, I'm going to rotate it. I don't know if this is going to work.
my font didn't download. I don't know.
Okay. What do you mean you didn't know download your font?
I did. I installed it and everything. I tried installing it again, said it was installed. Now I can't.
Okay, so you go to Illustrator, your character palette, Command T, and you type the name. All right, I'll go help you right now. Hold on, I'm almost done here. Now notice, look at, check it. Check. Okay, all right. No fighting over there. There's no fighting in Illustrator. Okay, check it out. And then I have this, and I use my Pathfinder. Let's see, Pathfinder. I don't know what I'm gonna get here. Pathfinder, right? Again, I know I'm taking too long on just this font thing, but I want to see what it does. But I can't find my Pathfinder here. It's somewhere here. Oh, there it is, right in front of me. Right? And then what if I do minus front? No. Unite. Oh, that kind of worked. This one. Ooh. Oh, look at this. So if I do that, option rotate. Oh, there it is. I got a circle. I got rid of the C though. That's okay. I'll bring that back. Check it out. You see, like I did my Pathfinder, and then I just copied this guy. Shift Command O. Everybody watching? All right. Shift Command O. Now this one, I come in here and delete everything else. The 4 is kind of ugly looking too. There's my C. You're welcome. Look at that. Way better. Right? I like that better. Copyright looks scraggly. And then the 4, man. Oh, I need some help. Poochie. It looks like that'd be hard to read. So guess what? Can I just grab this? Of course I can. Click on my points. I'm just going to extend it over a little bit. Where to go? Oh, here it is. Hold down Shift. Click on my points. So they're selected. You're welcome. Again, we're going to do a real hand signature with a Sharpie and scan it, and I'll show you guys later. I just opened it a little bit. That looks more like a 4 to me. Cool? Yeah? Okay, now check this out. Now I group these guys. I'm going to group them, Command G, get my letters. Oh, not you guys. Command G. And then this one, I might size it down because it looks too big. And I can offset it, do something like this. I like that. Just for now. Select all these, group them, bring them over here. Make it white. You're welcome. How do you like that? Pay me. No? No? Or put it over here or put it up there. Well, the bottom. I like the bottom. Maybe it's too big. All right. And then we'll do this with your real signature later. But please, from this day forward, guys, anything you make, put your name on it. Put your artist signature. If you haven't done one, we're going to do one next class. All right. Do a copyright. This is what they call the poor man's copyright. Does it stop people from using your stuff or stealing your stuff? No. But at least you can say, hey, I posted this picture on my website, on my Insta. This is mine. When you don't, anybody is free to take your images and do whatever they want to them. All right. Some people respect it. Some people don't. Yeah. But you got it on there. Right. And you have a file on your computer that says when it was created and when it was saved. Remember the metadata I showed you guys? So if you ever had to really take something to court, you can prove, right, that you did this before anybody got it from you. Command S, save on your computer, call it photo print, and put your initials, right? AN, always save it as an Illustrator file first. Yes. Cool. Everybody there? Yeah. And then save a PDF. You're going to airdrop it to Judges Photography. Save on your computer. Select PDF. Press quality. Or you know what? Let's do a JPEG because the PDFs take too long. Let's go back. I'm sorry. File, export. I forgot this printer has trouble with PDFs. Export as. You watching? Cancel. Let me start again. It'll be on the video. You ready? And just do a practice, even if you're not done, just so you can do it. It's not going to affect your Illustrator file. You ready? Okay. File, export as. Cool. Use artboards. You must use artboards because if not, it's going to include anything you have outside of the document area. Okay, use artboards, JPEG, export. You can do CMYK. Let's move this. Always move your quality to maximum. I would just leave it CMYK. That's fine. There's no real color in it. Now, this is important. 300. Right there. No matter what, we want a high res. Cool. 300 pixels per inch. Say okay. Airdrop that to Judges Photography. And print it out. I'm going to stop the recording here. Pause recording. And remember, once you look at this and you're like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. What is stopping any of you guys, right? When Art in the Park comes back in the spring, right? Don't wait to say, oh, I got to learn this. No, you learn by doing, just like I do, right? You got to do the stuff. If you just think about it, like I've been thinking a lot about all the stuff I got to do, right? My cars and all that stuff, but it doesn't help me to think about it. You got to actually do it, right? Everybody agree?
Yeah.
Once you start doing it, you're like, oh man, this is awesome. I made something. Let me print out. Then somebody sees it. Hey, I like that. How much you want for that? Even if they're just prints, guys, you guys can get prints done at any of the local printers. You probably print them for like $2-3 each on cardstock, right? And you set up a pop-up with your friends, or you start posting them somewhere, right? Like Ever and Jacob that are like into the bands, and Daniel and stuff. What is stopping you guys from doing that? Nothing, right? A few bucks. If you don't have money, bug your parents. Hey, I'm trying to do this. If they see you're doing something that you're going to be creative and maybe make some money, it's not all about money, but it's about feeling, hey, I made something that somebody else wants. All right. That's literally the first time I remember in college, a painting I made and somebody bought it. It was amazing. I was like, what? Why would somebody buy that? But obviously somebody else might like the stuff you make, right? It's all about starting to do it and make it. Don't overcomplicate it, because then that does get like, it becomes work, right?